Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll give you an update on the pipeline fire and the new Contreras fire consuming the state and what's being done to contain the flames.
Plus, remembering Arizona's African American history. We'll take you to East Lake Park here in Phoenix to see the Juneteenth celebrations.
And later, Water Watch. Details on negotiations over the use of the Colorado River at the nation's capital.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Luke Chatham.
And I'm Brianna Garcia. Thank you for joining us. An Arizona fire is the top priority for wildland firefighting across the country, and the Contreras fire reached a turning point over the weekend. The fire started last Saturday on a remote mountain ridge in the Tohono O'odham Indian Reservation, but quickly spread. It has currently burned more than 20,000 acres, but crews report it has reached 40% containment. On Friday, the fire burned across the Kitt Peak National Observatory, damaging several buildings. The fire is fueled by highly flammable grass and brush and was reportedly started by lightning. You can find more information on the fire and closures at the website below. The Contreras fire isn't the only wildfire raging across the state. As of today, the pipeline fire is still burning, but fire crews are making progress. For more than a week, the pipeline fire has been raging across Flagstaff, but first responders have made significant progress. The containment of the pipeline fire has nearly doubled from late last week. On Thursday, we reported the fire was 27% contained. As of this morning, the pipeline fire is 50% contained. While there is progress being made, all closures and evacuations remain in place. For more information, you can visit the website at the bottom of your screen.
If your summer vacation plans include flying, then you might be traveling through Phoenix Sky Harbor's newest concourse, which opens today. Cronkite News reporter Jessica Herrera gives us a glimpse of what passengers could experience.
The Concourse costs $310 million and features state-of-the-art technology, including windows with variable tinting that adjust with the sunlight. And accessibility was also an important part in the design.
We're enhancing accessibility solutions. There's going to be a hearing loop that allows customers with hearing devices to connect to the airport PA system so they'll be able to hear the announcements more easily.
Phoenix Mayor Kay Gallego and other politicians unveiled the new terminal. In a press conference, U.S. Representative Greg Stanton said the airport is an economic engine that supports Arizona tourism and trade industry.
It connects local businesses to the global market and brings billions into our local community.
The 275,000 square foot space features 8 gates that will serve customers. The Concourse design features Arizona themes, including a ceiling based on the Imperial Sand Dunes.
It has 118 baffles that are made of recycled plastic water bottles.
Bob Jordan, Southwest Airlines CEO, says he is grateful the project moved forward during the pandemic.
A lot of things were shut down because that was the only answer, was to stop projects. We didn't do that with this one.
And the view from the plane won't be the only sight travelers will get to see, as local artwork is featured throughout the terminal. In Phoenix, Jessica Herrera, Cronkite News.
Juneteenth celebrations took place all over the valley last weekend, but a celebration at one historic park stood out. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Green shows us the significance of this Juneteenth celebration.
Juneteenth, the holiday where slaves were fully liberated in the U.S., was celebrated to its fullest. At the historical East Lake Park, vendors, families, and music were everywhere during the observance of this holiday. This year's celebration is a bit different for Phoenix locals as well.
This will be the first year that Juneteenth is a paid City of Phoenix holiday. We hope people will make it a day on, not a day off.
All across the valley, there were many Juneteenth celebrations, but East Lake Park has a strong history and connection to the Black community. It's not only one of the oldest parks in Phoenix, but the park has hosted many civil rights rallies and has always been home to Juneteenth celebrations.
Long before I arrived here in September of 1981, I wasn't even aware of Juneteenth. and the first celebration I attended was here.
Here at Eastlake Park at the Juneteenth celebration, they're handing out honorary Juneteenth shirts to everyone coming to visit. And they also have some pretty good jerk chicken at one of the many food trucks that are spread around all around the park. But it's not about the t-shirts, the vendors, or the food trucks here. It's about creating an environment that's inclusive and open to the celebration of the Black community here in Phoenix.
This is a special day that we come together, kind of like Black History Month, to celebrate ourselves, celebrate our accomplishments, our achievements, our successes.
Besides its infancy as a federal holiday, Juneteenth has always been one of the few holidays that empowers the Black community.
Wherever we are, we don't have many holidays, and it is a holy day. It is a sacred day.
From Phoenix, Lauren Green, Cronkite News.
Juneteenth officially became a federal holiday last June, and while only 24 states observe it with a paid day off, the number of states and companies that recognize it is expected to rise next year.
The January 6th committee is expected to hear from Arizona Speaker of the House, Rusty Bowers, tomorrow. Bowers is expected to testify with 2 Georgia election officials. But what do these men have in common? They all faced pressure from former President Trump to overturn the election. Bowers has talked about phone calls he received from Trump and Rudy Giuliani after the 2020 election, asking him to support efforts to decertify Arizona's election results.
It's looking like Arizona's election rules are set to remain in place for now. A Yavapai County judge has rejected Attorney General Mark Brnovich's attempt to get Secretary of State Katie Hobbs to rewrite Arizona election rules. The ruling came down Friday, leaving a manual approved in 2019 as the guide for elections in 2022. The judge has signaled that many of the complaints raised on the updated manual that Brnovich received from Hobbs were unsupported. It was also made clear that Hobbs had, in most of the cases, followed the law when she wrote the election rules.
Coming up on Cronkite News, a congressional discussion of the drought. And questions whether other states are doing enough when it comes to sharing Colorado River water.
And also coming up, cities across the valley are limiting water usage. And we'll tell you why another city is joining the list.
Know what I'm saying?
Try to stay out of trouble.
Where's the fun in that? You know how ladies can be.
I'ma do what I do.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
That way the flavors will marry nicely.
Can you tell me what I'm looking at?
I'm not looking for love, I'm looking for cookies.
And there's still places to discover.
It just absorbs you.
You can make this at home if you can't find it.
I will continue to eat and drink until you get here. Get here fast.
Cheers.
Oh, look at that. Damn, doesn't that look good?
We are going to be eating well.
It does work.
It does.
We got a happy little sky.
We're just getting started.
Alarming, severe, historic. Those were some of the words senators used last week to describe the drought in the West. Now, while they all agreed that state and federal officials need to cooperate if things are ever going to get better, an Arizona senator demanded to know if everybody's cooperating as much as they should. Elsa Horteris breaks down the issues from our D.C. bureau.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly had a lot of questions at a recent Senate Energy and Natural Resources hearing, but it all boiled down to this. Is everybody doing their fair share?
And Arizona's done everything that Arizona has been asked.
And he had a specific question for Bureau of Reclamation Commissioner Camille Touton.
If basin states cannot reach an agreement, is the department prepared to take actions to impose restrictions on other states without regard to river priority?
Touton didn't say yes, but she didn't say no, telling Kelly that the Bureau is still working with all states on a deal.
Yes, we will protect the system, but we're not at that decision point yet.
The negotiations came as drought across the West has led to record lows in the Colorado River. Lakes Meade and Powell have reached levels that triggered the first phase of drought planning, with projections calling for levels to get lower.
Future water projections in this basin also look grim, and if water levels continue to decline, it would trigger the most severe water cuts for the Southwest.
The hearing included a range of possible measures to mitigate the drought, from desalination to drip irrigation. But every solution came with its own set of problems, and officials called for more data to help decide what to do. That doesn't mean they're waiting to act. Touton pointed to the $8 billion fund for drought response that was included in the recent infrastructure bill, money she intends to see spent.
What I will say, Senator, is I'll spend the bipartisan infrastructure law money to make sure that we're meeting the goals as Congress intended, but also to provide sustainability in the West.
One thing they all agreed on is the need for everybody to cooperate.
And we're going to continue to step up here, but we need partners and long-term commitments from the federal government.
Answers could be coming soon. Touton said the Board of Reclamation expects to make its yearly forecast this August. Elsa Horteris, Washington, Cronkite News.
In an effort to, as Senator Mark Kelly said, do their fair share, numerous Arizona cities, including Tucson and Phoenix, have entered Stage 1 water restrictions.
And now Glendale is joining those cities as well, announcing Stage 1 water restrictions this past Friday. Glendale officials say they are well prepared despite this information and don't foresee water shortages for residents. The first step in the city's water reduction plan is 5% less water use in city buildings. The city manager is asking people to turn off decorative fountains, checking water schedules, and fix any leaks. Next, let's check in with Ian Sachs in the Cronkite Weather Center to see what the weather holds for us as summer officially starts.
Yeah, summer begins tomorrow at 2:14 in the morning, so let's take a look at what your first day of summer is going to look like. Clouds begin to thicken throughout the day, and then tomorrow night you'll have some storms on the eastern portion of the state. As we head into your Wednesday, the clouds will lessen some, but they'll still be present there. Now, looking ahead at the high temperatures throughout the valley, it'll be 105 in Phoenix, 106 on the western portion of the valley. The eastern portion of the valley will be a little cooler at 101 and 102 degrees. Meanwhile, throughout the state, it's a similar trend there. High of 106, 107 along the western edge of the state. The eastern edge, much cooler. Show Low, the lowest point at 80. Safford at 91. Those storms that we talked about right off the top, that's what's bringing that cooling presence on the eastern portion of the state. Meanwhile, your 8-day forecast, it'll be right on average at 106 each of the next 2 days with a small rain chance. There's a small rain chance on each of the next 8 days, right about 10 or 20% on each of them. The high temperature for that stretch will be Thursday at 108. So always have that umbrella ready. That's monsoon season here in the valley. In the Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Ian Sachs.
Monsoon season has started and the mosquitoes have arrived. According to experts, mosquitoes are already carrying the West Nile virus. Maricopa County Environmental Services warned that throughout monsoon season, Valley residents may see an increase in mosquitoes and infections depending on how the virus behaves. There is no cure for the virus, but experts recommend wearing an EPA-registered insect repellent and eliminating any standing water from your property.
I'm Ashley Stevens. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll take you out to Mesa to meet the people who take cornhole very seriously and explain the science behind what's in those bags.
Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge?
You can do anything.
History is today. Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just gonna love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Evil can find its roots so easily in an English village.
The landscape of criminal investigation.
Murder,
almost certainly.
Modern policing methods.
We endeavor to do our best.
We're working hard to solve this case.
And to make sure justice gets done.
It's a new adventure.
And the rest, as they say, is mystery. I can hardly wait.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted. They need to be explored.
We're the dreamers.
How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Ashley Stevens. Earlier in the show, we had the story of the Eastlake Park Juneteenth celebration. The park's community center has a long history of offering recreational programs for children. The center offers dance classes, cultural programs, as well as various sports programs. Kids came out to use the basketball court Saturday, as well as the other facilities the park has to offer. Eastlake Park continues to carry on valuable traditions to future generations, like hosting Juneteenth.
We need to celebrate. We understand what Juneteenth means to us. And then once everybody else recognizes, if we don't celebrate ourselves and uplift ourselves, who's going to do it, right? So our young people need to see that.
Well, it was Father's Day on Sunday, and in just his third Major League game, D-backs rookie Buddy Kennedy made it a very special day for his family. Kennedy crushed a grand slam in the bottom of the fourth to send the Chase Field crowd into a frenzy. It's his first Major League home run, and yes, in that crowd was his dad, Clifton. Clifton and Buddy shared a moment after the game, which the D-backs won 7-1. Also on hand for Buddy's first big league weekend was former MLB All-Star Don Money, Buddy's grandfather. State Farm Stadium in Glendale might be best known as where the Cardinals play, but it transformed over the weekend into the mecca of high school basketball. The stadium once again hosted Section 7, a massive tournament featuring over 200 high schools from across the country. It allowed players to not just compete against opponents from other states, but also to get scouted. Section 7 brought out coaches from all levels of college basketball. One of the biggest names in attendance was Arizona's Tommy Lloyd.
Definitely in this high school recruiting window, this late June recruiting window, this is the best event in the country. And I think it's second to none, and I think it will only continue to grow.
To many, cornhole is a backyard game. You grab some bags, a couple of friends, and have a fun way to pass some time. Cronkite News reporter Ethan Ryder explains why, to some, there's actually a science to this game.
For most recreational players, cornhole is simple. Pick up any bag and throw. But for competitive players like Nate Walsh and his father Ken, choosing the right bag can make all the difference.
Whenever I look for a bag, I try to look for a bag that can do as many different things as possible, so it's not limiting my strategy.
I throw real soft, so I need a fast bag and a floppy bag. So that's, some bags are really bunchy, called carpet bags. People that throw hard like to throw those because they'll stick. Whereas if I threw those, I would just barely hit the board and wouldn't go anywhere.
The art of cornhole is more like a science. Bag manufacturers have come up with a numbered speed scale. The higher the number, the faster the bag.
You gotta have something that fits your style. There's so many different manufacturers. I mean, you look at an open here, there's so many different manufacturers, but it all depends on how you throw.
You get an entry-level bag, it's only going to throw one way. Once you get one of these bags in your hand, you start seeing that you can cut, roll, flop. It just opens up a whole other set of the game that you see on TV rather than in your backyard barbecues.
Not only do players have to pay attention to the intricacies of bags, but the manufacturers have to stay alert to the most minuscule of details for a bag to be pro-certified and successful in the market. Each bag has typically gone through 6 to 8 months worth of testing.
From the resin that you use to the bag materials that you use, when we're dyeing or supplementing the bags, certain colors change the feel of the bag, which you have to kind of take into place because it can also change the speed of the bag. It can change how the bag breaks in.
Competitive cornhole bags are also dual-sided, with a fast and a slow side. Players choose what side to use depending on the board and weather conditions.
Out here it's humid right now with everyone here, so we'll get a faster bag or throw slick side versus sticky side. So there's nuances with the environment.
So while you need the right skills to be successful at cornhole, you also need the right bag. In Mesa, Ethan Ryder, Cronkite News.
The American Cornhole League is holding another regional event here in the Valley this Saturday in Chandler. Visit kbcornhole.com for more information. That's it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Brianna.
After the break, we'll take you on an off-Broadway journey. From dashed dreams of being a Marine to a musical and reunion with former President Obama.
Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge?
You can do anything.
History is today. Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just going to love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Evil can find its roots so easily in an English village.
The landscape of criminal investigation.
Murder, almost certainly.
Modern policing methods.
We endeavor to do our best.
We're working hard to solve this case.
And to make sure justice gets done.
It's a new adventure. And the rest, as they say, is mystery.
I can hardly wait.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted. They need to be explored.
We're the dreamers.
How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
That's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
A local stage production makes it all the way to New York for a run off-Broadway. It's a dream come true, sort of. For the Arizona dreamer who inspired the story behind Americano, there are still more goals. Cronkite News reporter Daisy Gonzalez-Perez reports from behind-the-scenes curtain in New York City.
Tony Baldovino's story has taken him from Phoenix to off-Broadway and has given him the chance to meet with Barack Obama and Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda. But for Baldovino, that's not the most important part of his story.
DACA has been a saving grace. Every 2 years, I am very excited to reapply. It is a safety factor, and it is the ability to continue trying to represent ourselves and try and get to a permanent solution.
But DACA was not around when Baldovinos, inspired in the wake of 9/11, tried to join the Marines at age 17. That's when he learned he was not a U.S. citizen.
And I was told that I was wasting their time. I was very confused by that experience, and I went back home in embarrassment, anger, and just wanting to get it fixed out.
It hurt more to hear that news from the recruiter, not from his family.
The truth was revealed that day from my mother, and told us that we were never part of a process in the United States. So
that story became the basis for Americano, the off-Broadway musical that has let Valdovinos continue to tell his story, through actor Sean Ewing, who plays Tony on stage.
I know it is, in some people's perspective, just a show. But in my eyes, as the artist, I have the ability to affect an entire theater. I guess in a way I am canvassing. I am giving the message out to hundreds of people every single night.
For Valdovinos, that canvassing began years ago in Arizona. It was there that he met then President Barack Obama.
I had shared my story when I met him in 2012. We had asked him for help. He told us to organize.
Obama recently met with the cast of Americano to discuss the 10th anniversary of DACA.
You know, it was incredible to meet with him. It was incredible to talk with him. But it was also a stark reality that we have a tremendous way to go.
Americano's off-Broadway run ended Sunday. But it's not the end of Valdovinos' story, which he hopes will be retold.
The idea is to get to Broadway, and that's our biggest hope, is give us a shot to Broadway.
In New York City, Daisy Gonzalez-Perez, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.